Hey everybody, welcome to an all new video with Matt. Today I'm going to show you how I made this awesome birdhouse fence right here. But first, you're going to need a few things. Alright guys, to get started today, you're going to need various wood pieces from your shop, bunch of scrap boards in this. You'll need a circle saw, speed square, a pen or a pencil. You'll need an air nailer with an air compressor. You may or may not need a table saw for this. It just depends on your skill level, but I like using them. We'll need a drill. We need some hole saw bits. That's 1 inch to 2 inches, depending on how big your boards are is what size we'll use. You will need different color paints and paintbrush. Alright guys, so let's get started by simply just going over what we have to work with, right? So I'm just using all scrap boards from my barn. I have a bunch of 1x6 scrap boards right here. I have a couple of like pallet board slats, you can tell right there guys. I even had some little 1x2 slat boards right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make these different angles on our different boards, right? So the best way to do that is to just take a speed square and simply taking one of your boards, putting your speed square up, giving it a nice pitch like that right there. It looks like a nice pitched roof. Go ahead and mark that, and we'll take our circle saw, cut those lines, right? So we need to take and make different little huts basically, and you could take like your smaller board and give it a double pitch like you would be looking at straight at a house or something like that. So just play with the boards that you have. Go ahead and get your angles cut out first, so go ahead and do that now, and then we will go ahead and get our center marks for our holes to drill into the boards, guys. So stick around and we're going to knock this project out. Alright guys, I've got all of my boards cut. You can tell like the way I went with is I pitched the roof on this one just this way on the outside, same thing on the outside going this way, and my 3 boards in the middle I went with the like traditional like triangle pitch right there, guys. So what I suggest to do now is we need to look at and line all our boards up just like this at the bottom. Make sure they're nice and even straight across. Then we're gonna come over here and look at the tops, right? So you don't want them all to be like that. You want them to have some characters of their own, you know what I mean? So the 2 end boards, you can just leave those alone. Those look fine just like that. But like for this one, say example, I want it to be a little bit shorter, right? So I'm just gonna slightly pull it down to maybe right about there, right? So now that I like that board right there, what I need to do is I just need to come line up right here, make a quick little mark, and I'll take my speed square and line that up nice and straight and flat, and I'll cut that part out right there, guys. So then, like, let's see here in the middle, if that was going to be right there, let's see, pull it down just a hair more, and let's go with that line right there. Alright, so I need to hold that a little better this way. So that much, about that much, let's do that. Needs to come off. Same thing with this one. I like this one to be just a little bit higher than that one for sure. So that much can come off going by this end board, just kind of eyeballing it. Now, like I said, I mean, this stuff doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Alright, so got my ends marked right here. Let's see, do I want to pull that one? No, I want to leave the ends alone like they are. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get these parts cut off right here, guys, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so now what we need to do is find the center marks on our boards and get where we want to put our holes at, basically. So it's up to you. I mean, there's no like set in stone way that you got to do this. So I mean, you can just kind of pick a spot, like right here. I marked the little spot right here, center of the board, and I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna put that hole right there. That's going to be fine with me right here. Maybe on these outer ones, I'll go a little bit higher, guys. Let's see what's center mark. 2 3/8 down ahead. But yeah, like I'll go right there just a little bit higher on the taller ones and kind of like in the center on the middle one. Now these smaller boards right here, I want to do something a little cooler, so I'll say I'm going to put one somewhere up here too in that region. But maybe I'll come down over here to this board, and it has this huge knot in there, right? And it kind of takes up like the main point where you would want your hole at, so you don't want it this far down. So on this one in particular, I'm just going to go somewhere slightly above that little knot right there, so it doesn't give me any problems, right? So go ahead and get your hole drilled out in all of your centers. Now it doesn't really matter, guys, where, excuse me, it doesn't really matter what size that you use, but I wouldn't go too much bigger than either a 2-inch hole or even a 1.5-inch hole, guys. That's a pretty big hole for small boards like this, right? So maybe, if you want to get a real big hole, I wouldn't go to more than 2 inches on your bigger boards, but definitely on your smaller boards, go a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and get those drilled out, and then we'll be ready to start painting our boards. Alright guys, we're back. We got all of our different holes drilled. You can see it went with like a 2-inch style on my large ones, went with like a 1.5 right here, and then so on. So what we need to do before we paint these is we need to go ahead and get our roofs cut out, right? So for example, this one right here, it's a nice length, looks pretty good right there, so I'm going to keep it that length, but I need to break that board down some, guys, because that is a little high, right? So I'm just going to stick my speed square up right here. About 2 inches would be good, right? So I just need to come here on my board, mark it at 2 inches, pop a line down it right here like that right there, and then we're going to run this on a table saw, guys, or you can use a skill saw, but I highly recommend using a table saw to do that. But go ahead and cut this board down to 2 inches, and that will be your roof for that part right there. Same thing with these. You just want to come over to one end, get to where you like it, just a little bit of overhang, make that mark right there, and then make it 2 inches also. Same thing here, and then you'll overlap your top board. So if you're doing it this way like that, then the top board will just slightly overlap that one, and when you cut it out, guys. So go ahead and break those down into a couple of 2-inch strips. That way we can go ahead and get our roofs put together. Alright guys, so we've got all of our roof pieces cut now. Of course, we got all of our boards cut. So now what we need to do is paint it. And paint it, you can do it however you want to do. If you want this one blue and that one white and that one purple, that is completely up to you guys. It does not matter. Paint these the colors that you have on hand. Paint them the colors that you like. Now for my roof pieces right here, a lot of people like to paint these either white or stain them like a real dark brown wood color or something. But for me, in my case today there, I'm just going to be painting all of my roof pieces one black color like this right here. It's like a flat black type of color, guys. So go ahead and get your pieces painted now, and then let all of that stuff dry, and we'll be back to put it all back together. Alright guys, we are back. Everything has dried. We've got everything painted front and back. We got all of our little roof pieces. So now what we need to do, guys, is go ahead and nail our roofs on first. So go ahead and start with like one of your big ones right here, and just use a little air nailer. If you don't have an air nailer, you can use trim nails, or that's fine. I wouldn't recommend using screws though, being on that edge on the roof parts right there, guys. But go ahead and assemble all of the roofs that you've cut for each house. Like for example, this one right here we've cut out just for this one. We'll go ahead and just shoot those into place. So go ahead and get all of your roofs attached now. Alright guys, we've got all of our roofs attached right here. So what we need to do now is to cut out our little backer pieces that's going to hold these all together and hold them upright. So what I like to do is just line them up like this on the table and like to measure them out. I don't want any of my roofs touching each other, but I don't want them to be so far apart that it looks a little weird, right? So with the first board at the end right here, I put my first one at 2 inches. Just like that right there. That way it's not touching, and I confirmed by measuring it up here 2 inches. Then when I came to my middle board, I went 2.5 inches because of the smaller roof, and see how close that little gap right there is. It's not that close, but it's not too far away from each other either. But so anyways, 2.5 inches there. Then for the same thing, I spaced this one exactly at 2.5 also, and then the space between this and the last one was 2 inches, guys. So then you'll need to measure from one board over to the other, just like that right there. It looks like I got about 30.5 going on right there, guys. So I'm going to cut out 2 of my little slat boards at 30.5, and that will be our back end, and we'll go ahead and attach it here at the bottom, and we will attach it right here right under our holes. That way it doesn't show through the other side. So go ahead and get your backer board cut and get that attached next. And real quick, when you get your boards cut for your layout right here, guys, go ahead and paint your boards. That color is up to you also. Only the middle will be exposed right here. So I got a lot of white paint on hand, so I'm just going to paint my 2 backer boards white, and then I'm going to lay them back up and do the same measurement layout. I'm going to mark like this board on the board, then go over 2 inches, then mark that board on there, then go over 2.5. Mark these boards, go over 2.5, same thing. So go ahead and get your backer boards painted also. Alright guys, there we go. I've got my backing boards nailed into place, got everything lined up just like we laid it out, and that is how you do the little birdhouse fence, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Be sure to hit that like button down below for me and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week ahead. Peace.